Anger is something that victims of narcissistic abuse face and deal with at a massive scale. Once you've determined that you've been ensnared by a narcissist, usually you will go through a series of emotions. You will also begin to realize, if you do the deep work, that narcissism has been in your cipher far longer than the catalyst narcissist who brought you to your knees, whomever that was in your life. You'll realize that this evil entity has been in different places and faces throughout the majority, if not all, of your life. Prior to learning about narcissistic abuse and the behaviors of a narcissist, what was missing was the titles, the definitions of the behaviors, and putting words to what you were experiencing. There's a great deal of hurt and trauma associated with what you're going through. That hurt and trauma leads to rage and upset. You get to a place where the anger is not controllable inside of you. You're frustrated at realizing that all you've tried to do was show love and support and care. And what you've gotten in response to that was disrespect, gaslighting, belittling, minimizing, smearing, and all sorts of other unsavory issues. All of those things lead to perpetual frustration and the lost time of your life, your efforts, and your love. How it was taken for granted. It feels unfair, feels unjust. Many who have been victimized feel such rage. They want revenge. They want to see those who have harmed them punished and feel even a portion of the loss, suffering, and hurt that you've experienced. From an emotional and even logical perspective, it makes sense to have those feelings. This is why it's important to employ philosophical thinking, but more importantly, biblical principles. There's a level of self-accountability because in life we allow people to do the things that they do in our lives. We teach people how to treat us, as they say, right? And so the upset will motivate you to avoid and prevent this from happening in the future, going forward in your life. And how do you do that? Because you can't control anyone but yourself, right? We have to go inward and look at what it is that we did to allow abusive behaviors to take flight in our lives. It's a hard task. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is what we have to do. And we also have to rest in faith, understanding that vengeance is the Lord's. And that may not feel extremely gratifying to our individual selves in a moment of rage. But understanding this at a grander scale is what we must do, because that is the path of the anointed. The highly empathic person, the chosen one, the task is remaining fervent in love, understanding that our Father will handle whatever retribution needs to be doled out. His word is good, and he will. In many cases, he already has, but those victimized just may not be seeing it. So now what can you do in those moments of hurt, frustration, rage? Well, I've talked about it a little bit on other postings, and other chosen ones speak about this. But I see that this is a heavy topic. It's come up in many conversations and that I've had with people. And so wanted to give a little summary here. It's important to get that energy out of your system. It may sound a bit cliche, but it's true. Exercise, walking, swimming, running, cycling, anything that helps the blood flow releases endorphins. It releases the pleasure-feeling hormone, which diminishes the anger and rage that crops up when we're thinking about things that have hurt us. The reason that we're feeling hurt is because we're in our emotions and our feelings, right? And oftentimes what happens post-narcissistic abuse is rumination. So going through details of the things that occurred with the NPD and where your life currently is as a result of their toxic, demonic actions and abuse. It is extremely beneficial to you to get that out. So yes, journaling is a thing, but community, as I've spoken to already, is also a thing. Connecting with other like minds, seeking them out, having conversations, whether they be online, here on YouTube or other platforms, even better, in person with others, or even in groups online that connect via whatever social media tool or communication tool, and talking these things through helps to release the rage and frustration that's immediate. Intermittent fasting also helps to strengthen you, along with prayer and meditation, because those things help to center you. Cleaving to the Lord, having a strong spiritual connection with God, understanding the walk of the apostles, the disciples, and Jesus Christ helps to crystallize your experience. And I know it doesn't feel like it's fair. It feels like, why? I've been a good person. I've tried to be a good person. I've tried to be a good, parent, spouse, sibling, friend, colleague, boss, whatever. I've tried to do all of this. So why do I have to do all of this extra work? Well, it's because we're in life. And life is the thing that requires not just work, but effective steps in order to garner the life that we truly desire and that we're after. Yes, we may have been operating from a position of service and love and peace, but doing so under a veil of naivety is how the narcissists make their way into the highly empathic person's life. The things that I've spoken about here are just some of the things that you can do to tamp down the rage. But ultimately, you want to put on the full armor of God, and that's how you do so.